Okay, so this is something I never thought I'd say, but I sold all my Canon gear. The R6 Mark II, the C70, the RF lenses, and yeah, also the Fujifilm X100V. And before diving into the why I did that, I just wanna say it wasn't an easy decision. I love Canon, I love Fuji as well, but I guess over time my needs just changed. You know, I started using Canon gear like almost 8 years ago when I first got my 200D, my first camera ever. And then over time I upgraded with the first R system, the Canon EOS R, and then I upgraded with the R6 Mark II, the C70, and started collecting RF lenses. And in that time I also got the Sony a7 IV, and then the Fuji X-T5, and then finally the Fujifilm X100V. So I played around with a lot of cameras during my years of professional working, but this time it's a bit different. Because that setup was amazing for professional work, and that's kind of the problem. It was just about work. I started my photography career doing commercial work, and for that Canon was just amazing. But over the last few years my work naturally shifted. I started traveling more, I started this YouTube channel, and my needs changed as well. So for some time I thought that adding like a Fujifilm X100V was the right thing to do. Adding one fan camera to my kit was like the best decision in my mind to split the commercial work and the fun part, like daily life, traveling, and so on. And for a while it worked, but over time a few things started to bother me. The Canon setup stopped to come with me when I was traveling or when I was just going out and shooting YouTube videos. It was just staying at home, collecting dust, except when I was, of course, taking out for commercial work. At the same time, the Fujifilm, as much as I love it, started to feel like too limited. But let's start with Canon and let me explain what didn't work. The R6 is bulky and heavy, and the C70 is even worse. For me, they are not the kind of cameras that you just simply throw in a bag and carry all day long when you're out there traveling or doing something else besides work. They don't even fit in a camera sling, so when I was traveling, I was just finding myself around with my Fujifilm X100V and maybe my film camera. And the problem was not only with the body, but also with the lenses. I got the 24-70 and the 15-35, both RF L series, and going around with this setup, the whole kit was just too massive, too heavy. I mean, look at this, they are super big. You can imagine the R6 paired with one lens is like 1.5 kilos, and the C70 paired with another lens, of course, is like 2.5 kilos. So no complaining here, because for work reason, again, it was just okay. I know a lot of people go around with this setup daily when traveling, so I'm not saying it's like bad. I'm not saying it's not the good thing for anybody. I'm just saying it was not the right thing for me. Traveling or doing photo walks for YouTube was just a pain. That's why when I went to the Philippines, I took with me just the Fujifilm X100V and my film camera. My main setup was just too much, and when the best camera gear and the best lenses are sitting in your studio collecting dust and they're not coming with you when you're traveling to amazing places, that's kind of a red flag to me. But honestly, it wasn't just the size. There are other things that drove me crazy too. Let's start with the autofocus. The C70 just sucks, and the R6 was slightly better, but let's say I discarded a lot of footage of me just talking like this or doing vlogs, so that was not good at all. And the second problem is the stabilization. I don't know if it's just the R6 Mark II, but I had terrible rolling shutter in my footage, with this jelly effect on the corners, especially when shooting with wide lenses. But even when I was shooting without the in-body stabilization and just the stabilization on the lens, the problem was still there, so I was forced to shoot without any kind of stabilization, and I was having the same problem in post-production when putting stabilization later. And since for vlogging or stuff like that I shoot handheld, that was a nightmare. And the third problem was the Canon ecosystem. During time I started looking for new lenses, and I had two choices, or RF lenses or like cheap crappy entry-level lenses. Of course, there are some kind of good ones like the 35 1.8, but if I was looking for other zooms, for example, they were like super dark, like starting from 5.6 or 6.3, which doesn't make any sense at all. And besides Canon, there were a few third-party lenses like the Sigma APS-C, but that's pretty much of it. And one last super annoying thing, it was that I was not able to charge my Canon R6 via USB-C. I mean, I was able if I was getting a specific charger, but using a normal charger like I'm used to do with my new camera, that wasn't a possibility. So yeah, during time I started feeling that Canon wasn't evolving in the same way I was evolving. They have improved a lot of things during time, but not at the same level as competitors. And the only thing that was sticking me to Canon was just the color science. But you know, when you are out there shooting and carrying the camera gear, what's the point of color grading? Because basically every camera nowadays produces good colors, so that was not even the point anymore. And that's when I started looking back to Sony, especially the A7C Mark II. As I said, in the past years I got the Sony A7 IV, so this body is like the same things compacted in a small body. It has an APS-C form factor, yet is a full-frame camera. It can shoot 422 10-bit as log3, which is amazing. Colors are great, and the autofocus, it's just amazing. And last but not least, I love the gyroscope stabilization as well. But what really sold me was the size and weight. I can pack the A7C Mark II, 2 lenses, the DJI Action 4, 1 mic, everything inside my sling bag. Which is amazing because before I was just carrying 1 body and 1 lens, and that was pretty much of it. I was just carrying, of course, a couple of batteries, but that's it. There was no space for other stuff. And that's, for me, is a game changer. Plus this body and lens just weigh exactly as this lens here, so that's kind of crazy for me. In general, talking about lenses, the whole ecosystem from Sony is just on another level compared to Canon because it's full of third-party lenses, it's full of G lenses, which are not G Master lenses, but they are not like crappy entry-level lenses. They are very good lenses, I would say at the same level as Sigma lenses, and most of them cost less the Canon ones. Right now I'm using the G Master 24 1.4 from Sony, which is amazing. I mean, look the background, the blur background, it's so good. And the second lens that I got is the 24-50, and there are 2 main reasons why I got this one. The first one is size and weight. The 24-50, even the Sony one, is a bit heavy and massive. And the second reason is I don't shoot very often at 70mm, so 50 was pretty much for me. And yeah, I mean, look at the size again, it's super small. And the 24mm 1.4 and this one are exactly the same. Also, honestly, those 2 lenses covered like 95% of what I do, from video production to photo production. So for now, I'm okay. As for the Fuji X100V, that was a hard one to let go. It's such a great camera and I had a lot of fun using it, but in the end it was the same size as Sony, with no interchangeable lenses, with a bad autofocus. So for me, keeping 2 similar bodies, but one of them is like not as performing as the other one, didn't make any sense. So I only had this Sony setup for less than a week, but I can already tell this is exactly what I needed. I can use it for work, I can travel with it, I can carry it daily with my camera sling and carry it basically everywhere without breaking my back. So that makes a huge difference to me. And also it makes me excited to go out and shoot. I'm sure that I can rely on the autofocus. I know that I don't have to carry a lot of weight on my back, and I can simply focus on the creative side of the photography without thinking too much about specs or technical stuff. And to conclude, don't get me wrong, Canon is a great camera system. I will ever love it. The image quality is amazing, the color quality is amazing. But for me, when your camera gear starts to holding you back instead of pushing forward, then it's time for a change. Canon was a great chapter for me, but Sony is like the future and I can wait to go out and shoot more with it. And if you're watching this and you're feeling in the same situation as me, where your camera gear is like holding you back, doesn't matter if it's Canon, Fuji, Sony or whatever, then consider it as a sign, because probably it's time for a change. Maybe your camera gear should fit around you and not the other way around. So yeah, I guess I'm Team Sony now, and honestly, I feel really good about it. So see you in the next video. Peace. So yeah, I guess I'm Tony Stark.